Stay right there. I'll be right back. Just hold on to it. If you don't want it, you can throw it.
No, Daddy. 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 On the road yet. Nom 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 nom. Nom 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 nom. Dad! Dad! Daddy! Dad! Daddy! Daddy! I want to
Steven?
go. I want to go like my hair.
Go ahead.
That's when the gummy is banana.
Yeah?
So I want to roll down the town.
Okay.
So I got my backpack.
Are you going to sit in that chair?
Yep. I want to go. Because somebody in my house.
I thought you were going to stay here with me.
So I go to a backpack.
No backyard in your house.
Okay. I got my back. I got my head. I got my back. It's just my back is back.
Alright. So, let's get you set up here. Are you good? I think I'm gonna start.
And I got that still. I got that still.
Hola everyone. Good evening. Oh, you're gonna flash that in my eye. Alright. Pop out this chat. I can see you guys. What are you doing? Where are you going?
I'm going in the house.
You going in the house?
So I'm going to the back of the house.
Okay. So let me make sure. Leave the light on, Avon. Just push that down and push the door in. And push the door. Yes, definitely, Ethan RC. You guys know anything about Cessnas? You and your pops? If you guys didn't know, Ethan RC's father is Mr. Cub Crazy. Is that right? Hello, Eiley. Are you coming to look at the plane? Avon is giving you your coat. Hey, John Hill's in the room. Jackson RC is saying hello to him. So if you guys can't tell, I'm in a little different of a spot. Hello, Eiley.
Hi, Daddy.
Air Marshal's in the room because Jackson RC is saying, why, thank you, Eiley. So, yeah, it's a nice warm night here. And these kids are going to be running around. Hey. Shut the door, please. Still too cold to leave the door. And bring me these, Eiley. Eiley, Avon. Oh boy. Can you guys see them hitting this plane right now? This is craziness. Hey, stay away from the plane, okay? This is not what I was planning with them outside. But I have been planning to have this outside because... Time for a dad joke. Because it is nice out here. Chuck RRC, this is awesome. And regards from DC, pilots. Maybe Jay Burke, are you around Jackson RC Aviation by chance? He is north of DC in not Gaithersburg, but maybe another G-Berg in Maryland. But I'm going to welcome you guys to the show. You are first-time listeners and watchers to the show, so I'm going to give you a wrench. So welcome, wrench. Make you a moderator. It's good to see you guys. Chuck RRC. Funny line, too, as well. He said, time for a dad joke. If you would, let us know where you were or anything about you, what you fly, what you like. This is a show that is for everyone. So anybody who is watching, listening, if you're working, you know, throw up a quick hi. That way I can give you a moderator, wrench, and make sure that you're welcome to the show. Just say something. And then Northern Virginia. Okay, so that's where I was living as well. I was in Pimmet Hills, east of Tyson's Corner. Where are your onesie, Josh, and your mask? Yeah. Eiley, bring me this, please. Put it over here, please. Let me actually give them some light. Did you hear that? Someone just snorted. So welcome everybody to the show. It is a nice night out here. Onesie. Yeah, I was wondering actually, Jeff, how you spell that. Is that how you spell it, onesie? So yeah, it's funny because I actually wanted to play a practical joke on people and get some footage of me walking around in that onesie, and I have a full gas mask from the military. So, you know, say wear something like that, walk around town and see people's reactions. But it's starting to get out of hand, and, you know, as much as we always have to keep vigilance about us, and as much as people are wanting the government to do something about the coronavirus, we really can fight it ourselves. We really can take the policies to you know, sanitize your hands on the way into somewhere. Sanitize your hands on the way out. Don't carry germs in. Don't carry germs out. We're giving away all our freedom, just so you guys know. Wear a singlet. What is a singlet, Ethan RC? And Jay Burke, Fredericksburg Aeromasters. Is that where Fredericksburg? Is that where Jackson is? Jim Tur, how are you, sir? Are they close to the plane? Can you guys let me know if I should tell them to back off? We visited Fredericksburg RC Club 2 weeks ago. Oh, nice. And I want to make Jay Burke a moderator. Add moderator. Jay Burke is now a moderator for your channel. So yeah, this is a little something different. It's nice to have this plane in the background. It is, say, around 50 degrees in upstate New York. Quite nice. Again, this channel is for anybody. So if you're working in your garage and you're listening, if you're stopping through, say hi. Let me add you as a moderator. It doesn't mean a lot. It may mean more to me than it does to a lot of you guys. A wrench, to me, is something that says you're a part of this show. You have said something to give me the ability to give you a wrench because I can see you. I like to make everybody blue for another reason. It's just easier to see the comments. So I did have a little bit to say about the corona tonight, but we are going to talk about planes in general. This one has an Aura 8. It says flight controller, I believe it is. Maybe it's simply a stabilizer. I don't know the modes on it. I just got this plane, and I have not even binded it up yet. This is the second time that it's been together. I charged a battery so we can have some background ambiance. Let me take a look and see what the plane looks like in the background. I wonder if I can move it over. Let's see if it should be to the right. Yeah, let me let you guys get a better look at it. I'll move it over just a little bit. That's funny that they're running around. And she's got her coat off already. I'm going to move this plane over 1 sec. All right, so a little bit better there. I'm still watching myself set it up. I didn't do the quicker, less delay. Let me get back to your chat. So guys, the other thing going on along with planes is my my club. They asked me to come on out and do a survey of the area. They've been doing a lot of work for the drainage. Boy, I wonder what's going to get bumped first. But there's a couple things that if you don't know about your civil engineering and drainage in general, then it may not be apparent to you, and you may assume some things. But there are just a couple issues with drainage at our club and a couple things that can be done to prepare. So if you guys are wondering where it is that I've been, I didn't get your chat back up. That's one of the things that I was doing. Let me also read these. Jeff in Lower Alabama has the Flex 170. Fun plane to fly for sure, Josh. Definitely. Okay, and Tim Touton, you're talking about the Aura 8. I believe so, because I was mentioning that earlier. I don't know much about it. Yeah, I am brave. They're all right, Eric. Ethan RC's got a joke for us. Is this a dad joke, or what kind of joke is this, Eric? But yeah, Tim Touton, I want to talk about that Aura 8 here in a minute. I may bind this up right now if I get brave enough to. That'd be interesting. Waiting for that Ethan RC joke. Who was it last time? Mike SSI, is that the one telling us jokes last time?
Hiding.
Eileen's hiding?
Yeah.
Well, go find her.
It's dark.
It is dark. You got a flashlight? Yep. No, I'm doing the show. There you go. Deuces Wild. What's up, my man? EQRC. Pilots, beware of all the scams on YouTube. If a stranger comments on your channel, search it and see if you get warnings. How do you mean search it? Ethan RC says, why didn't Emma go to South Africa for the summer? Why is that, Ethan RC? Hello, neighbor. Here she is. Avon, shut the door. The Raj. Hey, Jim Chair, how are you tonight? So, Pterodactyl, Jim Terror, while we wait on Ethan RC's joke, what is the process for binding this? I believe I see a port for a bind. So do I just simply right there on the Aura 8, plug it right into that to bind it? It has, and this is something interesting for some of you guys that have not run S-Bus, and this is how I know it's running S-Bus in, is But it's the first time I've seen a plane like this, or really anything besides a quad. I'm not going to help you. Eiley is out here, and you need to find her with a flashlight. So this one has 2 satellite receivers. And when you're running satellite for Spectrum, it's running S-Bus in there. So you can, I know Randy, we were talking about this. You can run a satellite receiver as S-Bus, just like you have a regular receiver, except you're running the S, because you have the S-Bus, it's one wire to the flight controller, and you don't have to run everything else. From there, all of the control is going from the flight controller. Tim Toutant says DX18, and why didn't Emma go to South America for the summer? She heard it was chilly. That's a decent one, Ethan RC. That's a dad joke there for sure, but I thought you were younger. You got to step it up. Yeah, because Chuck GRC said, wah, wah, wah. Oh, or 8, no. And DX18. I followed the instructions, but back then they said it was okay to use 2 Spectrum satellite receivers. And that's what this one has in it. Did that update, Jeff, in Lower Alabama? Is it now not okay? I'm just reading too much into your comment here. Eiley, can you shut the door, please? Thank you. All right, so we're still generally good with this plane here. So what do you guys think? Should I bind this up now? I have a battery sitting in it. I have my remote. So I may just do a quick, simple, dirty bind. Get the plane in here. So he ran the latest updates from Flex, and I saw that too. I saw some twin satellite receiver. Okay, this one basically has, maybe that's the same thing. Twin satellite controller, twin satellite receiver. So yeah, I'm going to add a name to this. I got the Havoc in here as the last plane. The Havoc, guys, the GoPro facing this way, it didn't record. So I'm going to get another flight for you guys on the Havoc, and that was my maiden flight. But the next flight, I'm hoping is going to be even better. And it's going to have telemetry in it, because I'm going to put the GoPro in the nose of the Havoc. You're going to have a bird's eye view of a plane that I'm hoping goes 140 miles an hour. Eiley! Come here, Eiley. Don't go over there. Stay over here. I don't want anybody over there. So, Rhonda, if you're watching, it may be a good time to bring Avon inside. I don't know. As long as they're laughing and having fun. All right, add new model. Create. So, one thing that'll be cool for the Havoc is you guys will be able to see the speeds on it. And I think where I'll be able to mount it, I'll be able to pull the battery back a little bit. There's plenty of room for it. And that'll still give me a good CG. I'm basically going to build the front nose for the thing. So, Jackson, I'm seeing your comment about Spectrum Radio doesn't work with Detrum receiver. That I can tell you. Okay. I'm hoping these are DSMX 2 Spectrum receivers in there. Let me put this in. It says I've flown 18 models since I've got the DX8. I'm going to just make this F Crow. All right. This is where I keep my bind plug. Yes, Avon. You want to go up there? No. I want you just to stay right here. My kids are too brave. Want to go on this wall at night. What's cool, on this road here, this whole area, the neighbor right down the way, he planted lilies. So the whole row will pop green here in spring soon. So yeah, time to bind. Oh, I need a screwdriver. Haven, get down, please. Am I going to reach this? I'll reach it enough. Eileen? Eileen, Haven, get down now. Get down now. Can't really feel my fingers too much. All right, so I see a bind port. I'm hoping this, yep, that took it. So there we go with that. All right, if there's anything crazy about this, like for any reason these are reverse for throttle, please let me know. But you guys may think I'm crazy, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this right here next to this as the stop. Because basically if the motor can't get traction, it's not going to hurt as bad. Don't want to let it spin up. All right, so that should be in bind. Okay. Turn it off. Use this technique. Bind failed. All right, let's give this another shot. I don't really know what I'm doing here because I haven't done something like this. So if you guys do, let me know. And I don't know where my kids are. They're too darn adventurous. Yep, that should be there. I'm just going to check this out as I'm looking at this to see if I see some blinking lights. Not really. I don't see anything blink. Oh, I see some colors. Boy, oh boy. Whole bunch of colors. Bind failed. What's up? Does anybody know? They're too quiet. They are. They're around the side of the house. So the colors that I'm seeing are red, green, blue. And that is on the Aura 8 itself. So if anybody knows what that is, please let me know. Let's see, I can take this camera off here and show you guys. Going for a little ride. One sec. Put you guys down while I put this in. Can you guys see that? It doesn't sound like binding, but that's just ESC. I wonder if... Are you guys able to see that light in there? Hi, Avon. I am all over the place tonight. Rhonda to the rescue with little Avon. Let me try binding now. Kick it off the table. Is that what Jackson? Rhonda's got Avon. Bye, Avon. Bind failed. All right, so that's a pretty quick bind failed. I don't know how else to do this binding on this. Maybe something else I got to do. So I'm going to leave this alone. Maybe there's a comment or two. That'll help me out here. Get you guys facing up a little bit. Too close? Sure. I'll try going farther away, Eric. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, Tim. Let's call you. I'll put my phone back here. All right, Tim, 2 times. You got, yeah, I wasn't even binded though. So throttle trim would be like for arm later on for the ESC. Like that's what it was on one of my other planes here recently. Tim, I don't know if I have your number, or did I have you in, have I talked to you on Messenger? I really only got Facebook and all this just so I can start saying hello to you guys and learning your names and all. RC Weave and FPV, or do you want to put your number in here, Tim? And then you can delete it from the chat. Nobody will see it after this chat if it's deleted. All right, here we go. And I'm going to take a picture just in case. We'll try to call. Keypad. Hey Tim, how are you? Good. Let me take this off and off. That way I can just focus on you, and hopefully some other people will learn some things. Because I definitely need to learn. Can you hear me all right? I'm going to throw on a coat. Get a little bit warmer out here. Oh, is it? Maybe. Okay. Let me do that. I didn't try that. I had it in this other port off to the side that says B. So I'm going to try that. DSMX 22X. 22MS. Line complete. Now, there we go. You put a throttle cut on this. Thank you, Tim. Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, don't know why it was channel 8 instead of the port right next to it that said B. Uh-oh. That one looks off. I think I have some things reversed. Through a computer? Okay. That's interesting. I would not have known that I have to program it through a computer. So
yeah.
Is there
So which means you're gonna have to unplug everything that's in that airplane and throw the Aura 8 on your computer, download the software, it's free.
right?
And then do the reverse in the Aura 8 through the computer. I had to do that with the AL37.
Okay.
I would not have known, but I have to program it through a computer.
So when you are programming this, are you putting in the actual airplane, like say the model as well? So that okay, and it'll have AS3X, and what else does it have on it? I guess it is a stabilizer, right?
It is. It's almost like your ASX3.
Okay. All right.
You can have one position as off, one position as mid, and one position as full.
Now, is this, when you say full, is this full stabilization, or are you talking about, say, flight? Will it level the plane?
Flight, but not quite.
Okay. It almost sounds like the way the Mini Apprentice was back in the day, intermediate. Is that the one where you have like limited bank angles?
Correct.
Okay. Well, that's cool though. Yeah, this plane is definitely nice for night flying. I don't know whether this is the original light set or not. Maybe it is. Like what's on the tail kind of looks a little bit different. But
right. What I had to do with my AL37 is what I had to reverse the elevator in the Aura 8 in order for it to be correct with my radio.
so, yeah, I got you. Because this could be, I guess, only if he by chance flew with a DX8 would this be the same.
Yeah, mine's a DX18, same thing.
Right.
And also all your other controls like your differential and all those things also gets programmed through the computer and not the radio.
Okay.
So if you want 20% expo or 30% expo, you do it through the computer and not the radio.
Gotcha. A little bit different, and that's why it was definitely me wanting to reach out to the community and see what you know, what you guys know, because I would not have, well, would have taken me a little bit. Jeff is saying it has no gyro, normal and sport mode. I wonder if this is something different or whatever else. He said,
Well, mine's acting like a gyro because if I tilt my winds in every which direction, it'll compensate and go back the other way.
Okay. And if you hold it still, will it leave it there, or will it return to?
It returns to neutral.
Okay. So if it returns to neutral after you move it, that's more like stabilization, though, right?
Correct.
Okay. So it's good. With a plane like this, the simpler the better for me for this Aura 8. I'd be kind of afraid to have it with any sort of gyro function on it for self-leveling.
It's like if you're in a windy condition, it'll automatically help your airplane fly straight and level.
Right, definitely. And this plane, I think it'll handle every bit of wind I could throw at it. Deuces says tomorrow is the first day of spring. And Colorado's getting a huge snowstorm. Oh, man. That does stink. Well, Tim, I certainly appreciate it.
That was the key, is getting it lined up and getting your control surfaces to where they need to be. And like I said, you have to do that through the computer. You have to disconnect the Aura 8, get it on your computer, download all the information, see where everything is at and which channels is going to what.
Right.
You can vary it that way also.
What is the program that I need to go to on the computer to load it up?
All you have to do is download the app from Aura.
Is it?
It tells you that in the book.
Like Aura. Okay, I didn't get this brand new or with a book or anything. I literally pulled up to my club. Guy had a trailer, and this is actually from a plane, from a collection where our safety officer at the club, he recently had some people at his house, well, a couple months ago, had some people at his house, went into the living room, sat down in a chair, had a heart attack, and died. This was his plane, and this is one of those things where I definitely want to, especially because it's a flex, but it's this guy's as well, cherish this plane. And so his wife basically called another club officer and said, hey, these planes are yours. And so when he offered me this plane, he said $250, I'll give you the wing bags and the stand. I was already saying, okay, I wasn't going to haggle him for the price, especially because I knew what a nice plane it was, but it's a donation to the club, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
but here's the key, it's like, you can go to Aura 8 online and download the PDF instruction book.
Okay. For the Aura 8. Do they make other Aura flight stabilizers? And I guess I could use this in anything, right? This stabilizer?
Absolutely.
Nice. Be another way to program these, kind of like the Spectrum 636. This.
And then you save it for each airplane that you've got it saved for. Like if you wanted to do this one, then you download it into your computer, download that particular airplane, put it back in that airplane.
Right. Uh-oh. Michael Rochka's not happy. He said 60 and sun here, but a goddamn virus is all over the place.
Yeah, we just lost the person here in Michigan today, so.
Did you? Your first one?
Yes.
We're up at 6.
Out of 100.
In New York. Yeah. I mean, right now, I think it's blown way out of proportion because the whole point is like that we need to stay home to slow the curve. Well, if you're just slowing the curve, people that are going to get the virus, they're going to get the virus later when they're even older than what they are now. So it's still going to hit them, unless we're going to have an antivirus sometime soon. You might as well just get it over while you're younger than the future. But if it is that we're slowing this virus because the hospitals are at capacity, how many people in Michigan? 100, right? In New York, yeah. It's like 1,400 and 19% are hospitalized. Are you telling me the hospitals can't handle that many patients? 19% of, say, 1,300? That's crazy. Yeah, I don't want to get political right now, but right now we have the governor of our state. Huh? Say again?
Let's talk airplanes.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to fly. To me, I was out at the airfield Saturday. I still got stuff in my pocket from things I was doing out there. Plumb bob, measuring tape. I made a map. Actually, I'll go get that. A map of my airfield this weekend with another guy. And what we're going to be doing is redoing all the drainage. I'm going to go grab that map and show you guys. One sec. So let me see if are you watching on your computer as well? Is this map like at all legible? Not really. I can see from there. I'll talk you guys through it. So from what you guys can see of this map, I'll just show you the general outline. This is our airfield. Right here we have water drainage down by the road. And we have a field over here. We're not taking advantage of any of this drainage. So we're actually going to have a farmer cut over here a ditch to tie into this ditch so that we can hit the drainage from this side and this side. And then over here we have beavers stopping up our drainage. So it's like, all right, you know, once we keep this going and we have, I'm going to tell my wife to let Avon outside. Because he's just crying the whole time inside. Once we have drainage on both sides, that's the thing about our airfield and anybody's airfield is you have this water level. And if your water level or your water table is high because you don't have something draining it off to the side, it's just going to sit there. But literally, think about it like a cake. If the sides of your cake are exposed, water's going to come out the side. You guys should see this poor little Avon here. For sure, Jeff's Custom. This field is going to be nice. You know, I tell you the other thing, my long-term thinking is I'm looking at the maps, and we have water coming west and south of our field. And some of it is coming onto our field. And so we're going to berm that up. But the other thing is, all that land, it's actually ours. Like, it's hundreds of acres. I'm an equipment operator in the Army. That was my specialty. So if we have this land, and they said we have access to a backhoe, I'm thinking, I'm going to make myself a water feature. Tim, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, all good. I'm
Okay.
gonna tell my wife to let Avon out. He's sitting inside crying. It's like he wants to come out.
So I'll hang up with and then we can continue the conversation later.
All right. Well, thank you, Tim.
You got my number.
Yeah, for sure. I'll give you a call sometime, give you a chat, give you a text. Thank you for helping me out.
You bet. Not a problem.
Have a good night, buddy.
You too. Bye.
Yes, Deuces. Love the lights as well. My little Avon coming back out with me now. Well, can you go around? Come here, little buddy. No sense in crying. Can you give me a kiss?
Yeah.
You guys want to see a cute kid sobbing? Watch this. You're going to be sobbing now. Are you saying it? Yeah. Oh, we talking about beavers? I tell you what, that's the other thing I did in the Army is expedient demo. So some C4. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mike Keller, we got some big brown beavers there. A few of them. But, you know, I can't blow them up because my wife's national animal is the beaver. She's Canadian. And this little guy is half Canadian. So I'm gonna keep an eye on the chat and the other. You want to go in the car?
Yeah.
You can't go in the car. You got to stay here. Hey, Avon, if I put a camera on this and I put some goggles on you, would you want to fly this plane?
Yeah.
So, does anybody, Jeff in Lower Alabama, what is the flight time you get on this bird on a decent day? Yeah, that's one of the things that we're doing about the beavers, but is the drainage pipes.
Go get my baba.
No, if you're going to go get your baba, which is a tablet, you're going to stay inside. Yeah, Farmer is Canadian. You got it, Shadow. AAVEN. Reckham says hello. Can you say hi, Reckham Roy? Can you say hi, Reckham Roy? Are you going to say hi, Reckham Roy? Or no? No? Are you cute? Yeah. Say, I'm adorable. No? Are you cold? Good, good. So, one thing we're going to do is, before the culverts, I'm going to channelize it. That way, we won't have any beaver issues there. After the culverts, I'm actually going to dig it deeper, because what that's going to do is give us a reservoir for what flows off our field to flow into, and then it can dry out over time. But we need to have a positive, think about it like suction. You know, the water not only needs a place to flow, but it can't have any back pressure. It needs to fall off, you know. Think about like water going faster near a waterfall. It's basically getting sucked over the edge. So that's one of the things we need to do. And then we have electricity out at our airfield as well. So we may, in some areas, have a sump pump, but have it really low, like a regular sump pump, and then pipe that out somewhere further. That way we have a local draw, so that if it rains, we have a shorter area for the water to permeate through. Now, these are all engineering calculations that, you know, I used to do, but I don't want to anymore. So I'm going to fix things in the simplest way, and because I don't have access to the water permeation through the soil and testing the soil in a lab, so you're not really going to get a correct calculation anyway. So I'm definitely not going to be trying to do all that stuff. Chuck GRC says, add a structure with a wire that will increase velocity and create detention. Oh, with a weir. Okay. Nice, Chuck G. So, you want to go inside? Eiley, what? You want Eiley to come outside?
Yeah.
Eiley's not going to come outside, especially because if she comes outside, you guys are going to start running around. So,
What? just walk. I need to walk.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Planes, archery, table tennis is in his quarantine area. Flying my RC plane. Is that inside or outside? Where is your... Okay, he says joke. I think some people's quarantine area is on their computer, playing online. Here in a little while, we should take advantage of it. But I tell you what, guys, we really have something special with this live show because we have the ability to connect without actually, say, touching each other. Personally, I'm lucky that where I work, I only work with one other person. That's my boss. And I'm not worried about, say, germs that he has, you know, because I think he is able to correctly keep himself clean. You know, he's a smart person. So I don't think he has germs. To me, it's crazy. I think there's selfish people out there as well that really are taking up all the groceries. People can't even get, you know, meat for everyday shopping. Says Jeff in Lower Alabama says, I could work at home if I wanted to. May start soon from home. You know, if it is that you want to, all good. I think people in general, life after this is actually not going to return to normal. People are going to be different after this, which is good and bad. To me, you guys know about basically get your germs and get used to them. You know, don't be fearful of them. Build up your immunity. But at the same time, I question it myself, you know, what germs? And to me as well, protect other people that have a lower immune system. That's what it's about to me. I'm not really worried about it myself. Not really worried about it with my family. We're all strong. If there were a virus out there that's taking out young people, I'd be scared. But this one doesn't. You know, oh man, Jeff couldn't get his chicken wings. Deuces Wild says he's got the perfect cure for CV19. What is it, Deuces? Wild Bill, raining cats and dogs, snow in the mountains, crazy stuff. And Wild Bill is in Arizona. Did I miss the cure? What did Deuces say is the cure for CV19? RC Air Marshal. I've been forced to work from home. Haha. We have some 300 people in my office, so they're all scared. You know, that's the thing that gets me right now is the governor of our state should be separate from business to me. And he has the ability right now to dial up or dial down the economy. So we're setting a precedent right now of giving the governor the keys to our economy, giving the president the keys to our economy. I don't know, you know, how much you guys actually care, but that's what's starting to get to me. I heard somebody say on the radio, I want decisive, direct action, or else I'm going to give up on the USA. Well, the guy's already given up on the USA. So that read between the lines, that's what I'm saying. The US, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. We are living in a world of niceties, comfort. You know, think about back in the day where people had to deal with this thing and their siblings, their kids, their parents, they were dropping off like flies from these diseases. Now, we're not even in the hundreds. We're not even in the five. You know, you can't even count the deaths on one hand, and people are freaking out and handing over their security to the governor, to the president. That, you know, We got to be careful who we give our keys to the economy, to everything else. Maybe I'll look at it differently in that death is something that does happen. If we're at war, there could be millions of Americans that die fighting for our freedom and our security. But every year, 45,000 die for the flu. We're not even at 1,000 in the U.S. And we're saying, yeah, we'll let our economy shut down. To me, I feel bad for those people. And this is the last point that I'm going to make, and then I'll get off this CV19 rant. To me, I feel bad for the people that are hourly workers. They're people that are losing out on paychecks. And what we're doing to fix that is, I hear talk of $1,000 check going to everybody. Well, that's not going to do anything. You know, there's a lot of people that make $1,000 a week, even though they're hourly, you know, or $1,000 every 2 weeks. That's their livelihood. You give them unemployment benefits, so what? You give them quicker. You're only getting what? Max 500? That's not going to do people. There's people that need money. They need to work. That's the way we are set up. That's the way our economy runs. And for us to have our governor just to be able to dial down our economy, those people are the ones suffering. It's not like a lot of us where we have a salary or we're still working. We're still getting paid no matter what. Those people, they aren't. They're home going, how am I going to pay my bills? They're getting set up to be worse off later. So the mall here shut down today at 5 o'clock. That's a lot of money. Destiny USA is the 6th largest mall in the USA, and it's here in Syracuse. That's shut down. All those taxes, that's not going to be made up. My kids, they're not being educated right now. That education is not going to be made up, and we pay taxes for that. This is craziness, and literally the fear is traveling faster than the virus. It is crazy. I think, you know, my brother said, you know, think about going to Canada for if it hits the fan. I'm like, well, if I'm worried about it hitting the fan, I'll just go ahead and get the virus now and get it over with. That way, everybody else is then going to have to deal with it later, which is what's going to happen. You know, everybody's going to get this thing. And it's, you know, think about polio. Polio's something that went around and around and around every year. Many people got infected by it until they had a vaccine. So unless we have a vaccine, and unless we're going to quarantine until we have the vaccine, everybody's going to get it. Yeah, the media and the government, they are scaring people, and people are letting them and asking them for help, and the government is then going to save us from something that is killing a very small percentage. I mean, you have the FAA trying to protect no lives from drones. No lives have been lost from drones. But yet the FAA failed us in protecting us from this virus. They can't take their money and put some hand sanitizer on the exit door of a plane and make a policy to say, sanitize your hands or else. You know what I mean? Just a simple guard getting off the planes. Squirt, squirt. You know, UV light, and people are sanitized. You know, I think that stuff's just crazy. And the other thing about it is, this will be my last point, I promise. I saw something that says in my town, my county, if you get tested, you must then self-quarantine, or else it's a Class B misdemeanor. So I'm talking to my boss, and I've got to go to the VA hospital. What's to say that if they say they want to test me as a part of their policy, and I basically can't get treatment unless they test me because they control, right? How much control do you give to your government? And so I get tested. And then I return to work. That's a Class B misdemeanor. So when I go to the hospital, I have to say, no, you can't test me because then I can't work. And it's like, does the government think things through as far as their policies and what it pushes people to do? I don't think they do. I think they think about it from, well, I'd like it to be that, I'm flattening the curve. Well, that's not what actually happens. What you guys want and what actually happens are two different things. You going inside, Avon? Night, night. Make sure you shut the door good. Phone's buzzing. Maybe the FAA is saying, hey, you don't like us? No, not right now. You guys have all this time and resources to solve some problem that doesn't exist, but yet you're not doing simple policies. You let this virus spread all over the U.S. Craziness. Whoa. RC Air Marshal, Randy, get that shit delivered. Yeah, we've been having our groceries picked up by my wife for a while now. You guys know I have 4 kids. Obviously, I got kids, right? But what she does is she drives all the way across town because there's also a Tim Hortons out there. Tim Hortons is Canada's Dunkin' Donuts. So she goes out there, feels like she's home. They even have a drive-through for Tim Hortons there. Gets, say, some muffins and or donuts for the kids. Coffee. Brings me one. I was flying Saturday morning. She brought me a coffee and a muffin, which was great. Or sometimes she'll bring it to work. Jeff in Lower Alabama can't even get the pizza delivered here. Really? That's craziness. John Noon's Airborne RC. Good to see you, my man. I bet it's raining for you as well. Yeah, there in Arizona. I tell you what, I like being outside. This ain't too chilly right now. I got my slippers on that my mother-in-law gave me for Christmas. So that's definitely nice. Definitely Deuces Wild. This is a good time. This is a good time to teach them a little bit different life. I haven't taken my kids camping too much, but that's what people should be doing. I've always been of the mentality where, to me, a fun time is getting the kids into the woods, hiking, camping, looking at animals, setting up a tent, or maybe even chopping down small trees, because I'm not much of a lumberjack myself. But to bring them out there and teach them one skill at a time. Here's how you boil some water. If you had a wild animal, boil it for half an hour and you're good. Definitely. RC Air Marshal Dennis, I don't want to eat Corona fish. Corona fish. So to me, my survival for this coronavirus is, and I tell you what, I wanted to camp out at my field. We hosted the District 2 fly-in last year over the summer. I wanted to camp out overnight, I just didn't have my camping gear ready. I think the thing I did was basically spent the day cooking on the grill, and or I was the kitchen master or something, whatever, kitchen captain. So I was organizing the cooking. The next day I was cooking on the grill myself, because basically we were all a pretty good smooth unit. But I wanted to camp out, but I didn't have my camp out gear ready. And things like this remind us that, hey, if you needed to, for whatever reason, let's say the power goes out, camp in your own backyard. You know, if you have your sleeping gear, maybe a cot, you know, some water, things like that, a fire, then you don't need a house. You can easily take advantage of that time and have a good time in your backyard and make a memory out of it, versus staying in the house with the lights out and just hoping, wondering when they come back on. That's silly. You know what I mean? Don't be relying upon the power company, you know. Rabbit snare. Yeah, Deuces. That was the one thing we had to do in sapper school in the Army, was kill and cook either a rabbit or a chicken. And so that was pretty cool. That was, you know, the survival part of that. And what they did was they didn't let us eat for like 48 hours. And we were in the field for 2 weeks altogether. I don't know what part of the 2 weeks this was, maybe right in the middle. But we didn't sleep either. We didn't sleep for 48 hours. We didn't eat. So we were going and going, and all of a sudden they brought us to this base camp out there, and they had a coffee can that we put rice, potatoes, celery, carrots, and rabbit or chicken, and we boiled it for 30 minutes. Me as well. I also had chicken cooked on the fire itself, so that was pretty tasty as well. And then we had MREs at that point in time, so we were able to go in and get the Tabasco sauce, the salt, the pepper, and all that good stuff. We just weren't allowed to actually eat the food before the animal. Yeah. Also, hunger is the best sauce. But you know, this time around, I don't know if we're going to do a overnighter. But at my airfield, I'm doing all this work. And if you guys are wondering where I've been, basically been tired. I've been in the chats, been stopping in, but I haven't been staying in. And sometimes I've just been leaving without saying goodbye, which I apologize, but it's just like you get tired and you're like, all right, I just want to close my eyes. Because I was chomping around all through the field and making this map along with the guy. And one thing we tried to do is shoot a laser from here to this pole. There's two telephone poles here, so that'll tell you how much the distance is. And what I want to do is I want to shoot the laser from here. I know the height to the water, and I shoot it here, and I'll know the height to the water there. What that'll tell me is if I do a 1% slope, then how far down can I go? Because the more down I am here, the more slope I can do here. That means the more water is going to drain off of this. And so me and Bob Rowe, he's retired, we're going to go out there at night because my laser, it'll fire a long distance, 1,500 feet, but it was a very bright sunny day, so we couldn't see it. We were even trying to take this and look for the laser, but we just couldn't see it that far in the daylight. You know, that's the thing, Jeff, is you could tell us, but I wouldn't tell your neighbors, Jeff. I would keep that under wraps. I would tell them, I'm hungry. You guys got any food? And that way they think, well, he don't have any food, so I'm not going to go bug him. Because this whole thing brings out the worst in people as well as the best in people. You got people out there that aren't prepared, and they're power shopping, which means other people that are just trying to be normal, they're running out of food. You got people like this prepared, and then all of a sudden, their neighbors, they want to power shop for free at somebody else's house. Tell us, we're your buddies. But even me, I may come to North Carolina. I hear you got a nice RV too, Jeff. So, is Null in the spring? Joe Null canceled yet? Do we have any confirmation on that? All right, so loaded pistol in your bedroom, Shadow? Well, I would imagine you do. But yeah, you don't want to. Maybe Eric, if you're gonna tell him you got a loaded pistol at the same time you tell him you got food, and don't tell him where your loaded pistol is either. You know, that's something that's going to be important. I personally don't have any weapons because I know so many deadly things as far as booby traps and physical ability. You know, so I don't necessarily need a weapon, especially because for the longest time I had a big dog with a big bark. You know, that's more powerful than any weapon really is. There's a big dog with a big bark. 10 times more effective than a weapon. But yeah. Okay, so April 2nd is decision day for Null. Man, that's what, 11 days away? 12? Less than 2 weeks? It's going to be canceled. If that's the day they're going to make that decision, although I did hear some things about the curve flattening out as far as deaths. I think Italy right now has like 350 deaths a day, and their population's only 60 million. So it's respectable as far as those numbers. I think, you know, Italy, maybe they didn't have as much hand sanitizer. Mike Keller says AR-15. Looking at my British 303 now. There's a bullet. Yeah, 125-pound Doberman. You better believe it. You know, how many people are going to stay away from a 125-pound Doberman? See, that, Jeff. That's why I'm going to go to your house. Just so I can be friendly with that dog and be on its good side. Yeah. And a 25-pound Frenchie to get the big dog all excited. Because once that person kicks that 25-pound Frenchie, that Dobie will wake up. AR-14. Yeah. I tell you what, that's the thing that's crazy is I'm not really too much into weapons. And that's why I don't necessarily have one. And when I got out of the military, I had that dog. But if I wanted one, and I'm a military guy, and, you know, I can shoot dead nuts 300 meters, put it right in the middle of your chest, you know, with the naked eye. And like when I was out there yesterday evening, I was lining up my laser, and I was able to see it on that pole, 2 poles out. I'm able to see it in the evening, and I know that the other day I was lining it up like I was lining up iron sights, and I'm like, I know it's on that pole. I just couldn't see it in the daylight. But New York State, I got to jump through hoops to get a weapon. And it's like, already, you guys are controlling me enough. You're putting me in a weak position if something were to happen to where I really am fearful to tell somebody I have food, you know? All good, Guniac. We've been teaching me how to bind up this Aura 8 flight controller in this new plane I picked up. The Flex 170. Tim Toutant, I had to call him for him to give me some information that wasn't common to me. There's a slot that says B. So I put it in to bind. Didn't work. So he calls me. I called him. And he says, put it in channel 8. Sure enough, right away. DSMX 22MS. I was like, all right. So then he gives me some information that I have to essentially, it's getting there. Hanger. I brought another one actually. Let's switch it out. Let's see if it's brighter. There we go. Is that better? That's a nice nightlight. I like that. Kenny, what's going on, my man? Scored expert in hand-to-hand shooting. Hand-to-hand shooting? I thought it was hand-to-hand combat. Or are you talking about maybe pistol? Hand, I don't know what that is. Or is that like a joke? Hand-to-hand shooting. Is that like where you're fighting somebody and you say, all right, I'm done? Harbor Freight for the win. Let's what is Dustin, are you in here? What has Dustin got for security? Oh, that's right. Dustin is a weapons guy. Yeah. He's talking about those guns. I've seen them. Pistol from 0 to 50 feet. Well, I tell you what. If I were to get a weapon, to want to get a weapon, I would go straight to the 50 cal. Because you pick somebody off at 400 meters and you put a green dot on their chest or green dot on the ground in front of them, and you kick up the amount of dirt that you can kick up with a 50 cal round, you'll keep people away. To me, it's fear. And like I say, I can do expedient demo. So if life were different, I would be keeping C4 around along with some blasting caps and be booby trapping people. Yeah, you better believe it, Jeff. I mean, that's the thing is a 50 cal is also loud. And you don't even have to hit them with it. It goes by them and they're done. I mean, I don't want to play games if I have a weapon. I want them to be done. The other thing about it is a 50 cal is not something somebody's going to be able to turn on you. The average criminal doesn't know how to use a 50 caliber rifle. They're not going to be able to hold it. And so that to me is invaluable. Plus I'd probably have a crow's nest in my house. But to me, really, the US needs this virus to see certain things, to see what they've been doing wrong, to realize that they're not prepared and how weak some people are. And it's going to also take a while for people to realize, oh shit, maybe I should not have handed the keys to the economy to the governor, to the president. Maybe I should have taken care of this myself, done the right thing. Let me put this this cover on this plane. I think it'll look a little bit better. There we go. Yeah, the other thing is it's got the wingtip lights on it. More self-reliance, definitely, Shadow. You know, I think that's where people should be, is able to feed themselves, protect themselves, you know, in general. And that's why I say we're spoiled. We really are. People need to enjoy every day, even under times like this, where we have this fear of this virus. You know, this is not even a bad virus. Do you see anybody's skin being eaten? You know, something that you go swimming in the ocean and it goes inside your brain and starts eating you and you're dead within a couple of days. That's scary. You know, that keeps me from keeping my kids on the beach. This is, you got a bad flu. Well, you know what? I don't worry year to year if I'm going to get the flu and die. So, to me, I'm not worried. I will like it, George. I think with how bright this plane is, I live 4 minutes from a high school with a lot of field, and I can fly this plane at night. And this has got 2 satellite receivers on it. So basically I got 4 antennas, 2 times 2, 4 antennas. So I think I'm going to get signal for a good long ways with this one. Yeah, I saw Craig says 762 by 39. It was nice to shoot a AR-15. We also did that in soccer school. One of the, I think it was a lieutenant, grabbed that AR-15 and from a standing position fired it all the way, and they went back. They about fell down. But that was a fun school that we went to. We did a lot of demo, jumping off cliffs, and AR-15. Learned about all the other weapons. Lots of knots. Deuces. Have a good night. Waking up early. Yeah, so the other thing I've been doing this week, you guys saw my video. I stayed, that was filmed at like 12:30 at night, where I was in the onesie. One of the things reasons I wore that is, as I mess around with the powder in the machine, it can get dusty. And it's like, if I'm going to be late and I'm going to be there by myself, there's very little risk of fire. There is risk of fire, but I also didn't want the dust on me, so that when I was done at midnight 30, I could just remove that suit, remove the mask, you know, and go home and lay in bed without feeling like I have powder on me. So that was the other reasons why I wore that. And then there was another night I stayed late and did the electric discharge machining, which is EDM. It is a Mitsubishi. If you guys don't know about it, I didn't know what it was. I thought the wire was going to chop my finger off when I first saw the machine. I didn't even know what it was, but it's basically a big hot wire foam cutter, except the brass wire, 10,000ths of an inch, never actually touches the metal. It's basically just shocking very quickly and slicing down the middle. The part is held still, and it has to have the connection. It has to be grounded to the table and make the connection to the wire. So you guys will, if you haven't yet, see some more footage, or I think there was a video where I put literally my camera in the water and got some footage of this process. But that was some of the other things, along with last night before Jeff's show, and this is why I was so tired as well, is I was walking around my airfield, because you have to see how the drainage is under all different circumstances. And if you guys want to fix drainage at your airfield, literally what you do is you go out there when it's raining. You find out where the water is flowing when it's raining, and that will tell you what to fix under the worst circumstances, so that when it's calmer, you'll know that everything has a channel to flow. So basically, you know, if there's a puddle, you know that the bottom of that puddle has to have an access point out to somewhere. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing with this airfield is I'm going to be setting this point as the highest point. And that way, when I shoot a laser from here, anywhere I shoot a laser is going to be lower. And I'll be able to keep a constant flow down, because water is already flowing out this way. We're going to make it flow this way. So if I have this as the highest point, everywhere else should be lower. And we have a main runway and a runway for 45 when the wind is blowing. And then, like I was saying, this is where the water is going to be. So that laser, I can have somebody, basically it's going to be a lot of people when we're out there shooting in the evening, and giving me distances, and I'll have the direction, and they're going to be able to give me the height. So it'll be nice and easy from one spot to shoot that laser. I'll know the direction right there on the laser itself. It has the marks on the cap. They will tell me the depth, and we'll get all those measurements. And then from there, we're going to make sure our field is sloped in the right direction all the way from one spot. Drainage out that way. It's going to be really nice. Long term, we are going to have, I think it's like Joe Knoll, they have a water way there, so you can fly a plane off of floats. I want to have that at our field too. So dig a French drain in your wet spot. So what we're going to do is we're going to have it covered, not French. We're going to have it so that way pilots can actually land here, because this is actually grass right here, and this is where the end of the runway was, and then we extended it. So we're going to have underground drainage. So we used to do French drain in our airfields. We had drains so large for the airfields that we built in the Army that we got a call as engineers with the heavy equipment from the medics. So we go out there, and if you guys know the medic Humvee, it's got the big back end on it, right? So all we saw, we didn't know what happened. All we saw was the ass end of a Humvee sticking up out of the ground. They found our French drain. So we had to get a loader out there and pull the Humvee out. Tim Touton, have a good night. The show is closing up. Thank you again, Tim. I would not have been able to find that out easy. It takes a lot of courage to mess around with a whole nother system like this. It's the first time I've been with, say, 2 satellites receivers. And this is quite a motor, quite the prop. 6S, not something I feel like playing around with. So definitely thank you, Tim, for helping me out with that. And we are at 9:28. I'm sure GB is close, if not already ready. Not sure if I saw somebody say hello to him or him say hello. The other thing about our airfield that I'm going to be working on slowly over time is we landed a C-17 on a dirt runway and we laid black marks, okay? That was a glue capped. Basically, it's like Elmer's glue. We put Elmer's glue, open the drain into our water tank, into our water pick, and we sprayed it all out onto the airfield. All right. It is for erosion purposes. It sealed our runway. No dust would come up when the C-17 would land on this dirt runway. So, here in New York, we have frost heaving. But you have frost heaving no matter what. So if we were to make part of our runway as a test, could even be off of the area, just a test, make it out of dirt, all right? You can make it smooth as a baby's butt. And you can paint it. So you can paint it any color you want. You can paint runway stripes. You can paint numbers. You can paint lines. You can even run some LEDs out there to light up your runway, right? And you can then put a glue cap over top of it. You have the smoothest runway possible. And you can also have grass next to it. Now, truth be told is if you have, now some people like to land in grass. It's just easier for them and their planes. Hey, GB, where are you, bro? Hey, I do see him. He said thumbs up. So, GB, whenever you want, I will sign off. You drop your link in here. Usually I do. But you drop your link in here, and I'll follow you as well. I got to get all this stuff inside. But, yeah, we will all head over there. But stay tuned, guys, for the long term as to what happens with this airfield. And I'll get some cameras on this, and I'll get some cameras on the ground, and you guys will see this. Let's see. I got a dinger. So, GB show. Are we here yet? Are you up and running? Okay, we're waiting for GB. He's not live yet. Throw your link in here, and we will head over. Uh-oh, GB has got some wine tonight. Is that what I heard? His special guest? Somebody drinking? Or you going to tell us who the special guest is, GB? I think he's live now. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the help. It's been fun. This is my first show outside. I hope to do more of them. We shall see. As you guys know, I'm obviously busy with work and starting to devote this time to the airfield. And you guys will see what comes of it. You know, this is my rough draft, so we can start getting our measurements. There's where we started taking some of them right there. You get your measurements. You get your laser, you get your depth, and that way you can start finding out the actual good data to where you can make that thing baby smooth. You can find out your low spots, your high spots. I appreciate it, Randy. I appreciate your attention and patience with me setting up this plane and getting it bound during the show. It was actually really exciting for me. So GB is alive. I'm going to say good night, everybody. Josh Weaver, RC, out. Thank you, Troy. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Thank you for all the comments. I appreciate that, Eric. EQRC. We don't need no stinking manuals. Let me find out how to press N on this thing. Again, thank you, everybody.